Hi everybody, welcome to Sarah Be Too Good, where we learn to be too good to ourselves. Thank you so much for joining and watching this video. I don't take it lightly or for granted that you choose to come in and watch my videos. Now, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Now, you guys, I appreciate you watching the videos. And you're sharing the videos, share the videos. Now, when you tell your peoples to share the video, make sure you tell your peoples to subscribe to the channel, because I can see the number of viewers that have watched my videos. And so the number of viewers is not matching the number of subscribers, which means that maybe your peoples are watching the videos but they're not hitting the subscribe button. So anyhow, you guys, seriously, I want to thank you so much for joining in and watching this video. Today, I want to talk about something that was like, it was heavy on my heart. I went to bed last night. I don't even know the title that for this video. I'm sure that I'll have it by the time that I upload the video. And so I had gone to bed last night and my heart was heavy. I was sad and I was prepared to cry last night. And so that was the state that I was in, not depressed, just sad. And so I woke up this morning and, I continued to hit the snooze button because I wasn't prepared. I wanted to just stay in the bed. I just wanted to stay in the bed. But I couldn't, unfortunately. I couldn't just sit in the bed. And so anyhow, I was sad because I talked earlier about forgiveness. And so my sadness came from, I talked on an early video about forgiveness. The relationship between my sister and I is estranged. Although I have extended the olive branch. I've extended apologies. I've done all of that. Although I was not the instigator, I did not start it. And so, however, I still did those things. And so I had this expectation that the relationship piece would be better or further along than where it is right now, but it's not. And so because of that, I was sad and I was hurt because things were not happening the way that I want them to happen. And so as I got up this morning and I did shower, and so as I got up this morning to shower, then God began to deal with me. And during this time that he began to deal with me, you guys, it was like God massaging my heart, which during that moment I knew, okay, this is what I need to share, because it just really not just resonated, but like it was like my heart was comforted, And so I want to talk about God's, the forgiveness. Number one is a process. And that process, we can't put expectations. Neither can we put a time period or time frame on God's process of forgiveness, okay? And so that's one thing. And then I also want to compare God's process of forgiveness to that of an inmate who's being released. And you'll understand why I'm comparing the two. And so when we choose to forgive, it doesn't matter who started it, because forgiveness is a choice. It's something that you've made a conscious decision that you're going to participate in the act of forgiveness. And so when we choose to forgive, not only are we making a decision to release the person, but we're also making a decision to release ourselves. So when we refuse to forgive, we are holding ourselves hostage. When you refuse to forgive, you are holding you hostage. And so, but when we choose to forgive, then we have to release ourselves. We are releasing ourselves from holding ourselves hostage for how many years we may have held ourselves hostage. Okay. And so that's why forgiveness is a process. That's why God's process for forgiveness, that's why God's process of forgiveness is a process. And so, number one, I had the expectation that once I forgave my sister, I just had this expectation that I was going to feel bubbly and happy on the inside. That ain't it. I told y'all I went to bed sad. I told y'all that I was prepared to cry last night. And I woke up this morning and I was still in that headspace. Not disappointed, just sad. Just sad that there are not been any changes, between my sister and I, besides us talking and that's it, And so there's been no change, okay? And so the second thing is when we forgive other people, that's a gift that we give to ourselves, but that's also a time that God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is also working on us. And so as he's working on us, he has this tool, like this chisel. And so a chisel is a tool. It's like a sharp pointed end. And you use this tool to chip away on wood, to chip away on ice, to create this image, to create this figure other than the original formation of what it is. Like, say for instance, is wood. You may have like a square. You may have just like, it may be square. It just may be round, but it's just blah. It's just like that, okay? So when you have the chisel, you chisel away at that wood to create something. And this is what God does to us when we choose to forgive. And that's why it's a process. So one, we have to release ourselves during this process of forgiveness. Number two, during this process of forgiveness, God is working on us, chiseling away those things that don't serve us so that we can be whom he has created you, whom he has created me to be. And the third thing is during the phase or the forgiveness process, we have to sit in our feelings. And the reason we have to sit in our feelings is because before we came to the place that we decided that we were going to forgive whomever wronged or offended us or hurt us, we had all of these emotions: anger, rage, just whatever feelings that's normally associated when we don't want to forgive somebody. Is usually hate and anger. We want to hurt somebody and beat them to the white meat show, And so, but we have all of these feelings. And so, but before we decide, or before we get to the point that we are going to walk in forgiveness, and so while we're in that space, like we're not even in that space to entertain possibly forgiving that person, which is why forgiveness is a process. And in that process, we have to sit with our feelings, because you've gone from feelings of ready to beat him to the white meat show to, okay, God has changed your heart. And now you don't want to beat him no more to the white meat show. Now you want God to, to show mercy towards them. Now you want God to extend his grace towards them. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be dealt with, but you're not sitting over here like, yeah, God, get them. Yeah, get them. It's not that. So you just want God's mercy and his grace to be extended towards the individual. And so that is the reason why Um, Forgiveness is a process. Um, okay. Now I want to also compare that process, God's process of forgiveness, to when an inmate is being released. And I want to compare it to an inmate being released, because when we refuse to forgive, we're inmates. We're the inmate of ourselves. Okay? And so when an inmate is in prison and they're about to be released, number one, that release, they don't just wake up one day and they're told, okay, inmate 457892, today's your day, you're a free man. It's not, it doesn't happen that way. Now you guys, I only found this information because I had to Google it, because I've never been to jail, okay, and have no plans of ever going to jail. And so, first, the warden, they, determine that this inmate can be released, that they're eligible to be released. That's step one. The next step is they have to, they'll look into their accounts, see if they're owed any money. For example, if that inmate has a credit or has an available balance, like on their books, of $25 to $75, they have to reconcile that balance back to the inmate that's soon to be released. Okay. Then they'll have to go and look at any personal belongings that inmate has. And so they'll have to collect all of those belongings, personal belongings of that inmate. Okay. Once they've done that, step 4 is, they'll need to know where they're releasing this inmate to. Is the inmate going to be released with family? Are they going to a halfway house? Like, where are they going? All of this information has to be documented. And then they'll also have to document, like, who's going to pick the inmate up, the soon to be free, individual. Do they have family and friends that's going to come and pick them up? Are they going to be provided a bus ticket, to leave the prison system, to go whether it's friends or family, to a halfway house? And then the victim has to be notified that the inmate is going to be released. And so I use that example because as I was getting ready, as I was taking a shower this morning, that was the illustration that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had given me. And I know, so when we choose to forgive, we are releasing ourselves, which we are releasing ourselves from ourselves. We've held ourselves captive. We've held ourselves hostage. We were a prisoner within ourselves. And so when we forgive other people, it's a process. So yes, it's great that you make the decision, come to a place that we're ready to forgive someone else, but don't be so hard on yourself. Know that forgiveness is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And you just continue to show up. You guys, I normally come on here and my lips are popping, and I normally have my red stiletto lipstick or either my paparazzi pink lipstick, but I didn't feel like that today. I didn't feel like that today at all. So what you got, now I did just put on some gloss, but I wasn't feeling that, like bubbly outgoing, and it's okay. And when you have moments where you're not feeling bubbly, it's okay. This is a process. And so I want to encourage you to not to be so hard on yourself, and to remind you that forgiveness is a process. You are going to have days where it doesn't feel like you are going through the process. It's going to feel like it's not working, but I want you to continue to show up like I showed up today, without my popping lip color, but be committed to the process of forgiveness. It's going to take time. There's a work. God is working on you, and you have to, and you are also doing the work, because you have to release yourself as well. And so just like you have to release yourself, that other person that you've apologized, they also need time to process that information as well. And so I want to encourage you. I hope what I have shared with you has met you in the space that I was in on last night, prepared to cry when I went to bed. I hope this video has found you in a space where you don't want to get out of bed. But yet, my prayer is that by the end of the video, my prayer is that your heart is been comforted, that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is able to massage your heart the same way that he massaged my heart as I was taking a shower on this morning. And so you guys, share this video, anybody that comes to your mind, especially individuals who have gone through difficult situations with individuals where they have been wronged or hurt. Share this video with those individuals, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And until next time, Sarah be too good, or we learn to be too good to ourselves. And I love you.